All right, crew, this is the last piece that I have for you guys. I went ahead and filled in a couple more workloads for my players here. As you can see, it populates over here. I drag down my formulas so you can see my my table starts to like even out some. Let's go ahead and make that a 0 or a 1 here. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to turn this into a graph to make it just more like visually appealing. So I always like to put a label at the top here so know what section we're in. I will underline all of that, merge it, and you can put graphs or visuals. I just put visuals up there. Let's get this back normal, center that, and make it big so we can read it. Cool. So first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna come over here, you're gonna highlight all of this here, just like that. I'm gonna include my thresholds, or no, sorry, I'm not gonna include my thresholds right now. I just want to get the EMA table. I can do the EMA table in the next one. See how long this video takes. But right now I'm just gonna graph my schedule on the x-axis, my game loads on the y-axis, and then I'm going to use a combo chart so that way I can have my game loads be as like a bar graph, and then my EMAs are going to be lines. Okay, so I'll highlight this section right here. Come up here to insert. I'm gonna insert a chart. And typically you'll get something like that to start with. Let's slide this over. Typically that's what you'll start with. Next, I'll come in here and I'll hit combo chart. And there you go, that's my combo chart. So it kind of does it for you automatically. These over here are empty because there's nothing in there yet. But it shows you on a daily basis your workloads. And then it shows this gray line here would be your fitness level. And then this orange line here is your fatigue level. Okay, your 3 EMA versus your 21 EMA. And then from there, you can pretty much customize it how you want. I like using, there's my, I come over here, not my legend, my series. So my game load, I like to make this column gray because it matters, but it doesn't matter like a whole lot in terms of like where we're going and where the ship is kind of sailing. I'll come down to my next one, my 3 EMA. I use red just to show it. Fatigue. So it kind of just works like that in my brain. Red being fatigue or running hot or whatever. I'll thicken up this line here. Point size. Thickness. Make that a 4. And you just want to make everything kind of bright and bold. What you don't want to do is have a bunch of stuff on here to make your chart not necessarily presentable, but it's just hard to read when you get a lot of stuff on there. So I typically break mine down into 2. I go over here, go to EMA. I make this one blue like that. I'll thicken it up some as well. And again, these are random numbers I put in, but I typically make it look like that. Then I go up top here. I go to my titles. My chart title is going to be player load I'll center it. And you can play a lot of that stuff. Horizontal axis is going to be schedule. And my vertical axis is going to be game load. On the horizontal axis, I'll slant them one way or another. It's just going to be easier when you get all these games, and remind you you're doing every single day, so you want it to be as legible as possible. So it really could be like a 60-degree, because as you add more, it's going to get kind of like jumbled together and whatnot. And so you just want to be prepared for that ahead of time. Cool. And that's kind of how I operate that. Feel free to customize it however you need to. But as you add in more days, if I come over here, we're still looking at player 2. If I add something else to player 2, say I add, say we go 40 and then 60. Those will populate in there just like that. And those are my 2 new bars. But to get my lines to contribute, I need to come over and incorporate that data. And there you go. Now, for the next graph, now I'm going to graph my acute chronic workload ratios, and then my upper threshold and my lower threshold to make sure I'm always inside that that sweet spot window, essentially. So I'm going to make another graph down here at the bottom. Somewhere down in here, or you can make it on the side, whatever's comfortable for you. I just stack mine, that's just what I do. But what you're going to do is you're going to come over and highlight all this data one more time. I'm sorry. Highlight all this data. You're going to hit Insert, Chart, and this time you're just going to make a line graph. Make a smooth line chart, just like that. Drag this over here. And position it. Just like that. Cool. And then so from here, like I already have my stuff kind of, my game load's already layered out, my 3 EMA, so I don't need these. I just need to hold on to the ACWR, the upper threshold, and the lower threshold. So under setup, I'm going to remove game load, I'm going to remove EMA, 3 EMA, remove my 21 EMA. So now I'm left with this right here. And this is typically not what it looks like. It's just I threw some arbitrary numbers in there, and so basically it's saying that these girls don't have any fitness right now, and the workloads that they're experiencing is way out of their range. That's basically what this is saying right now. But mind you, this is just random numbers. Those are my thresholds right there. I'm trying to stay within those. And so I would have to come down here and, or no, sorry. I go to customize, and then I already have my chart style. Don't worry about that too much. My chart title is going to be acute chronic workload ratio. On the bottom, it's going to be, the horizontal axis still going to be schedule. Everything we pretty much did up top to make the chart presentable and legible. Vertical axis, game load. Just like that. For series, I'm selecting the ACWR. I just make this black. I want the thickness to be pretty thick. So I go down to a 4. And then next I will hit upper threshold. I make these dotted lines because they're not necessarily solid concrete lines that you have to stay within, because sometimes you will go outside of them. So I'll make these dashes here, and on that, since that's the lower threshold, I'll put it as green, because to me that means like we're fresh and we can handle a little more action, a little more game load, volume and intensity. And on this lower side, or I had them, they're backwards, but make that dotted as well, and just like that. So these right here, these dotted lines are just plotting those thresholds that I had talked about earlier, that Tim Gabbett talks about being inside the sweet spot. And so ideally, as your data kind of normalizes itself, you will see this line go in, be inside of this range here, and this scale should come down, so it would look more like I'll show you an example. Your data will look more like this. Here you go. There are my thresholds right there. Anything below, we're typically kind of detraining or getting further away from our fitness levels. There's a higher risk of injury down here, but there's also a higher risk of injury up here. So the goal is to try to stay within these lines and help guide my sport coach on, what we should be doing in practice, what we shouldn't, or not necessarily the X's and O's, but how much we're doing in practice. Just like that. We had a long trip here, a long break right there. So, so on and so forth. Some of this data is not filled in on this backside. But everything from like here on over is like up to date. Up here, if you want to add that extra piece in, because I use a trend line just kind of to see if we're trending in the right direction as far as like our fitness and preparedness levels. You can click on this graph at the top here, get out of that. You can click on this graph, come over, hit these little three dots, edit chart. And then I can go over to my customization, go to series. I just want the trend to follow my 21 EMA or my chronic load or my fitness load. And I can just add a trend line right there. There you go. So the trend line just kind of follows this 21 EMA, and that basically shows you that your fitness level is increasing. And it shows you the steepness of it, like how fast you're increasing. And ideally, you want this to be more leveled out. You want it to have some increase, but you don't want it to be like this. That means you're doing way too much too quick. You want a slow, gradual increase for long sustainability and longevity. But that's it with this video, guys. Hope all that makes sense. Again, if you have any questions, shoot me an email or drop a comment. You can check out the website. These videos will be up in the series together on YouTube. Also on my website, winby50.org. You can learn more about myself and what I've been doing and where I've been. And it's a fairly new website, but the plan is to kind of like update it, update myself, take some programs for some different teams that I have and put on there for people to purchase. It won't be anything crazy expensive, but those will be up for sale. I have any type of like online personal training, or you just want help with anything, I'm more than happy to share my expertise and what I do. Yeah, thanks for watching. Again, if you have any questions, drop a comment or let me know. Shoot me an email. Happy to help you with any of this dashboard stuff. Other than that, peace.